It is Thursday, March 14th, 2024. It's currently 11:44 a.m. and I want to show you what is engineered light. So this is engineered light that is always present every day. I'm just pointing out again, you're looking at multiple layers right here. So multiple layers, you also have what is a line of light. This is just a line of light just going across the ceiling. Absolutely impossible. Has nothing to do with the placement of the light source that is outside of my window, that's directly above me right now, which is an impossibility, and this light is speaking to the ongoing impossibility. This is revealing the demonic. The demonic is surrounding what is a criminal system in operation by the state of California. The state of California, the public entity, is practicing a satanic targeting system, and it is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring. There is no natural explanation for this manifestation of light on my ceiling and throughout the depths of the apartment. That is speaking to what is the pattern of conduct. So I want you to see how this light is disappearing. You see that movement? That's called light activity. You aim light, engineered light, as I'm moving my hand. This is absolutely impossible light activity. Understand this same line between my blinds is the same placement, illusion created with the magnification that you see day in and day out in the morning when the sun is supposedly rising, okay? This is the same pattern of conduct. It's just another iteration of the same conduct. Light is not shooting like a laser onto the ceiling, onto the floor, and remaining for the duration of the day. You also have what is the pattern of the blinds, all right? And now this is I like to refer to as the glowing method. This is the pattern of the blinds. This is impossible light activity as well. And you also have what is a concentrated. This is the more concentrated method of light activity. You've got multiple layers of light here, and you can also clearly see what is the line of light, which is speaking to the center divider. This is the same exact conduct that the entity is engaging in when you are looking at what is supposed to be the sun and sunlight in my apartment in the morning. That is not the sun. All right, I'm breaking down an illusion, understanding, the world is understanding what is demonic, what is basically the lies that we've been told about the operation of the natural environment and how that natural environment works. But I want to get to this is a hallmark. Engineered light is the prima facie case of federal group stalking and monitoring, where a public entity is placing you under surveillance. And that entity is doing it in the presence of what is the people of the state. The people of the state have a very specific legal significance. They are engaged in what is criminal presence. What FedEx is doing is accomplishing monitoring. This is called crossing path, while I am surrounded with what is engineered light. FedEx is a documented group stalker who also engages in the demonic pattern of engineered light moving across surfaces while they are driving a commercial vehicle in relevant position under the light source. This is a documented criminal act. Okay, so you're understanding it's indiscriminate. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter, in other words, if they're in a company vehicle. It doesn't matter if they are a government official. It doesn't matter if they are a parent holding a newborn child. You're looking at the environment, which is the phenomenon. It's the specific environment, and it is that which is irreconcilable. It is the direct evidence. It's the prima facie case. And understand that this is the malice of that system. And the people of the state, the demon possessed, the state of California is relying on the outward veneer to be the persuasive yet legally irrelevant rebuttal as to the existence of federal group stalking and monitoring. In other words, a third-party group stalker, a demon-possessed one, a psychopath, a sex offender, a terrorist that is engaged in monitoring an American citizen is literally relying on the fact that you are going to disregard, dismiss, have some compassionate consideration for what is the outward appearance if they're holding a newborn child in their hands, if they're pushing a stroller, if they are wearing a badge, okay? If they have some seemingly blemishless record, all right? Having never been convicted of any criminal record before. All of this is irrelevant to federal group stalking and monitoring. Just want to let you know that. And this is what is going to tie together what I'm speaking of. It's currently, again, it's 11:48, but I'm starting this video at a specific time because I'm making another very vivid illustration for the American people, for the world. This is impossible light. This is the illusion that this is sunlight, and this is speaking to what's the presence of the sun. You know that that's not the sun. In the morning over this blue venue, that's a third-party facilitating venue. They're going to be prosecuted, identified as engaging in facilitating what is federal group stalking and monitoring. This is a state system that's underway in the state of California, and the people of the state are engaged in what is a ceaseless act of terrorism against an American citizen. Maintaining vicarious presence, that's what that is, and they're identified by their address. They are living in a crime scene, and it is the malicious guise under which the state of California is maintaining presence all around you, and that's the explanation for what is the unnatural light that fills the venue. And this is the particular venue where the entity is rising the light source in alignment to me and maintaining what is engineered light. That's the illusion of concentrated light. It's supposed to be sunlight. I want you to pay attention because it's 11:49 now, but understand the timestamp. It's 11:44. And at the same time, in 2021, specifically August 17th, 2021, the entity was maintaining a light source over my head in the same exact manner at the Ontario Police Department. The Ontario Police Department is a third-party facilitating venue, and as you'll see me as I am at that venue of the Ontario Police Department off of Archibald in Ontario, California, after having been released from kidnapping by this entity that has been placing me under surveillance, engaged in criminal monitoring, and then that engaging in what is the exploitation, masquerading as a department, as a court, as a sheriff's department that has legal authority while they are placing you under surveillance, violating your constitutional and human rights, and then creating what is a fictitious prosecution, creating facts, creating information, creating court hearings, and creating information to defame while this entity knew that I was documenting it and I was subject to what is kidnapping. On August 17th, 2021, I was released from kidnapping by this entity that continuously engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring as I documented it. Also documenting it while I was subject to kidnapping inside of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, and they were monitoring inside of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. The surveillance cameras inside of that venue, that state facilitating venue where the entity maintained the light source over the venue, engaged in aiming engineered light inside of the venue, like laser light all around the units and the inmates, the so-called medical workers. They were engaged in the demonic behavioral pattern. They were monitoring. They engage in tormenting you, monitoring you, and group stalking in the facility. Nonetheless, I want to be clear, at 11:44 a.m., at the same exact time, daylight savings time is applicable if you want to entertain the illusion. Daylight savings time doesn't apply. This is not the natural environment. Not only is the sun present after having risen in alignment to my apartment this morning, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, this is over 4 hours, the sun is not remaining present at the same location, and that's upon isolation of the venue. Comparing it to what is another facilitating venue, that's the state facilitating venue of the not that police department, the Ontario Police Department. And at the Ontario Police Department, there is no sun that's going to be present over that venue, contrary to what I documented on August 17th at the same exact time, 11:44 a.m. And I captured that light source in the same position over the top of my head. And I'm remaining there at that venue, very distinct from being inside of my apartment in Los Angeles, where the documented maintenance of presence of the light source from the beginning, as you also know, till the end of the day, but at no time is it ever deviating from remaining over my head. And when we supposedly only have one sun, and yet you're looking at the same time while I'm nowhere near the Ontario Police Department, nowhere near the 60 freeway, and nothing that I'm looking at in the sky space is capable of being seen at that address in the Inland Empire, specifically over that venue, that address of the Ontario Police Department. This is capturing what is the facilitating venue, the demon-possessed, the criminal monitoring group stalking that was underway, the targeting that I was subject to while I was at the venue of the Ontario Police Department. And that's how you have the phenomenon. That's how I'm able to capture what is impossible at the same time. And this is what I'm speaking to when you are understanding that there is no exception, there is no position, there is no reputation, there is no name. That is an exception to where you are looking at the specific environment. And I want to be clear, the people of the state, the public entity itself, these people that hold these positions of so-called power, who think up until now that they will be able to get away with what they have been engaged in against American citizens for a long time, purely relying on what is the weight that their name or their position holds, okay? Like I said, the Los Angeles Police Department, nor any other actor, law enforcement, government actor, none of them are above the law, none of them. And this is exposing not only their condition, but their criminal system that's underway in the state of California. There is no sun that is hovering over my apartment in the same way that that's not sunlight appearing on the ceiling inside of my apartment, that in the same way that that's not the sun that's rising feet away from me and still present at the end of the day, let alone 4 hours later, where you're talking about the sun that's in constant motion. all right, rising on this side of my apartment and setting through my bedroom window in the evening. No, that's not the sun, and that was not the sun. It's not possibly the sun, especially as I give you a vivid illustration such as the exact same time, 11:44 a.m., while I'm at the Ontario Police Department. I want to be clear, as the documentation has already established, the Ontario Police Department are a demon-possessed agency. They are corrupt. They're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, have engaged in a documented pattern of kidnapping, which is obstruction of justice. And so you're speaking to what is not only removal of that department, but not only mental examinations, as you are literally deconstructing that department, but they're going to federal prison. Okay, and I want to be clear, it's not just the Jason Knighton, for example, that have engaged in kidnapping, those that I have documented by name and badge number. It is the entire department. It's not just one, it's not just a couple. What I'm speaking to, this phenomenon, is speaking to what is a mass situation. Mass corruption in the state of California. And it's referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring, and you're going to recognize it. You're going to see it through the environment that the people of the state, that the government, the public entity itself is present. And you also have what is beyond a coincidence in the specific environment where the Los Angeles Police Department is engaged in heavy stalking via helicopter. Heavy stalking. I want to be clear, what the Los Angeles Police Department is doing, my documentation in and of itself is establishing what is beyond an unreasonable nuisance. They are stalking under existing state laws by what my documentation in and of itself. But I want to be clear, it's beyond stalking. You're capturing the phenomenon, you're capturing the engineered light. This is speaking to what is a secret society, and the Los Angeles Police Department and the Ontario Police Department are the same entity. All right, and this is surrounding them with insurmountable evidence, speaking to what is the crime that is literally unspoken. But I want to be clear, it's not just the fact that the Ontario Police Department are acting. The people of the state are acting with these corrupt law enforcement agencies. The people of the state are the reason why these corrupt law enforcement agencies are able to engage in kidnapping. Okay? This is the criminal pattern of conduct. It is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring. At no time of year is the sun ever going to remain stationary over me, let alone anyone else, for the duration of the day. And it is also not present over the Ontario Police Department and 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6, hovering in the same manner directly over my head. This is the pattern of stalking with light, and this is how you're identifying what's happening to you, who is around you, and the condition of those who are around you, and what you're subject to. It's called targeting, and it's of a satanic nature. It is terrorism underway by a government that is maintaining vicarious presence around you. This is P.O.C.